brings he kind of back to the Exorcist story. He mentioned when I did watch this Q&A with him at the Alamo Drafthouse, he said that when he showed up at this, little Oaxacan village, they scouted it first and deemed it, a great spot to do that bridge scene. And then they come back full production and the town is empty.
Yeah.
No, everybody's gone. And he turns and, I think to one of the locals said, "Where is everybody?" And they go, "Oh, they found out that you're the director of The Exorcist," and that freaked them out. And they're so religious and so scared that you're coming that they left. And so the town literally emptied out, and he had to get extras from other areas because people wouldn't come back to the city because he was the director of The Exorcist. So it was just nutty how,
I love it.
It's just, he, like I said, yes, that's probably what he's going to be well known for, but it's a shame that, this film isn't, up there for most people. I think it has. I think it's come back. I think it's gotten to the point where people recognize brilliant movies that may have been ahead of their time, but movies that where the hero was not necessarily a hero.
Yeah. It has big time backers, man. Kermode is backing it. Tarantino backs it.
Yeah.
One thing, though, I want to ask you, and I kind of want to see what you think about is, we touched on this a bit earlier, but in the beginning, there are these 4 vignettes. So we get to meet people in different areas where, one we learn one's a hitman, one's a terrorist, one's kind of a banker who owes a lot of money, and the other guy is a mobster and things go wrong. That takes about 20, 25 minutes to get through.
Yeah.
And when we get to these characters and we journey with them and we spend time with them and we go on some of the most stressful kind of situations with them, we still never learn. There's no character motivation, not motivation. There's no character development.
How does a banker know how to drive a truck?
Yeah, exactly. But it's kind of like with this thing, though, we spend 25 minutes with characters who remain blank slates the entire time. So It kind of makes me wonder, listen, I really liked the learning about their backstories, but I don't think that was needed. I think we could have gotten that from the guy. One of the guys is still wearing his wedding ring. Another guy knows how to work bombs, right? Another guy is adept with a gun. So instead of those 25 minutes of traveling around the world with characters we never know anything that's going on inside their brains.
Well,
do you think that 25 minutes was necessary?
You're thinking now. Let's take the Humphrey Bogart movie, Treasure of Sierra Nevada.
Yeah. Wait, Sierra Madre. Sierra Nevada.
Yeah.
That's the remake.
I don't know.
That's the remake.
I don't know. I'm thinking of a beer now. Anyway, in that Humphrey Bogart movie, speaking of which, I'm going to have a sip of wine. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
In that movie, you're right. All the characters in that film showed up in a small town in a bar, and you didn't get their backstory. And they get recruited to go on hunting gold, hunting for gold. The backstory wasn't all that important to the film. I understand what you're going with, but I think in this case, it was important. It was an international group of people. It wasn't a bunch of expatriate Americans that were hiding out in Mexico. This was a global, group of guys that, by the way, for whatever reason, I don't understand how they all chose that particular town. I mean, I know in Roy's case, his character was told just go to Pier 54 and get on the ship. Where's it going? I don't know. Just get on the ship. So in his case, it was a random thing, but everybody else, they didn't actually explain why they got to that particular town. Because if I was running, especially the banker, I mean, if he had funds, I would have gone someplace nicer, but
Sierra Nevada.
I would have gotten another bottle of Sierra Nevada, and it's fine.
Got a nice apartment. Lives a nice bougie lifestyle.
Life.
Yeah.
But I can't believe I said that.
No, but no, I think it's funny. So what you're saying is we get to an international vibe, and then we kind of learn who these people are, and also maybe another thing, Dave, is we learn who they are in the beginning, so we don't have to deal with it later. So in some movies where, who are you? Well, let me do a flashback. So I guess you get that all out the way, so when we're on the journey, we know who they are.
Well, I mean, you're right. They could have been on the road in these trucks and then had flashbacks to their particular reason, what brought them there. But I think that would have taken away from the intensity of being in a truck full of unstable dynamite.
Like, you know what's crazy? Sorry, I just jumped on that. But you get Victor. He negotiates the contracts. So we learn in that scene in the village that he's smart, that he knows how to be a lawyer and how to manipulate money, that he knows how to kind of figure all this out. So we know he's savvy with money. We know that Kasim is good with bombs. We know that Nilo is good with guns, and he's a bully. He has this evil glare in his eyes. And then Scanlon is just a roughneck, angry, like guy who probably got there under circumstances he wasn't planning. I don't know, I guess for me, when I learn about characters, there's a movie called the Bourne Legacy with Jeremy Renner, but we're introduced to Edward Norton's character when he's running in the rain at 4 a.m. And so when you see that scene, you're thinking, this guy is running in the rain at 4 a.m. That's all we need to know about his character, right? He's driven. He has a schedule. He's athletic. Nothing will stop him. So right. I kind of like it when actions speak. So I don't know. I kind of wonder why he chose this. I mean, I would never ask him. He's a much better filmmaker than me. He had made French Connection. He had made, Exorcist. He had carte blanche to do whatever he wanted. But I guess that's if someone, put nitroglycerin on my head and told me to say one thing I hate about, I love this movie. One quibble I have. That's my quibble.
I never really found out what his passion was. Why this particular film?
They told him no.
Probably. You can't do it.
Sounds like you at work.
Yeah.
No, Dave, don't go back there. Don't go back there. And then you toe the line.
But you said no. I'm going back there.
You do the shuffle back.
A lot of people have passion projects, and for whatever reason, they got to get it out of their system. I feel that's, again, we're going to go back to Apocalypse Now. Francis Ford Coppola, that was his passion project, and damn near killed him and multiple other people to get it made. And you know what? I wish there was a documentary. Maybe there is. Maybe I wish there was a documentary on the making of this movie, much like Apocalypse Now.
I have an interesting thing for you. So they asked him that question, why he didn't have a similar one to Apocalypse Now, and what he said was the reason that thing was made in Apocalypse Now is because Coppola's wife was there and she was bored, so she just picked up a camera and started filming. In this one, they didn't have, the studio wouldn't fund it, and so they had no EPK, no home video. I don't think he wanted people to know what was going on behind the scenes, so they just never filmed it. They never did anything behind the scenes. So that's kind of why.
I would have loved to have seen the bridge building process, the process of shooting that scene.
The fake rain looks so good.
Yeah, exactly. Well, what I read, he planned. He was smart enough to know that he had to wait until overcast. So a lot of that scene was shot late in the day, so it could be cloud, because the clouds rolled in, I guess, late afternoon. So he was the one that waited until it was cloudy again, so it looked like it was actual rain. But those were like rain making machines and a helicopter that was brought in to. I will tell you that I don't know how they did this. But the scene where they're on the bridge and the giant tree comes floating down the river and smashes into the bridge.
Yeah.
That was so sudden and so scary. I was like, how the hell did they do that? It looks legit. It looks so real. And you're like, okay, you're in the middle of a bridge, in the middle of a monsoon, in a raging river below you, and here comes a giant tree and it smashes into you. And I'm like, how the fuck did they do that? And that's what else is going to get thrown at these? That's why I said it would have been so perfect to get through all that and then get on the other side of the bridge, and then a coconut drops out of the tree and
not about us. We're like high-fiving in the car.
That would have been you and me. We literally been high-fiving each other, and a coconut would have fallen on a tree and blow the whole truck up and us. So yeah, that would have been our end.
Wait, all right. You and I are driving. We're the third car. So
the third. Dante, the last one over the bridge.
So we're the last one over. It took us extra long. And then what happens is the sorcerer blows up, and then the Lazaro gets shot, the engine gets shot, and he stops. That'd be funny if we drive past Roy Scheider's character, and we're just like, na 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 na, and we're like laughing, and like we're like dancing in the car, just like, yeah. And also we hit a bump.
By the way,
like a big bump. Boom, boom.
I don't understand why Roy's character wasn't driving the main title truck. You know, I mean, you see Sorcerer, Roy's the lead in this thing. He wasn't driving the Sorcerer truck.
I think that's smart, though, because you might expect the Sorcerer to make it, and it doesn't. Yeah. Well, when have there been cars with as much personality in this? I mean,
you know, that goes down. Yeah, you're right. Speaking of, you know, of famous vehicles, that goes down as one of the cinema's, you know, by the way, that was a character in itself. Did you see the front grille?
Yeah.
It looks like a devil.
Yep.
It's evil looking. It's got ridges for horns. It's got an evil grin or face on it, that grill. And I know that was why that truck was chosen. But that's a character in itself. That thing is just flat out evil looking. You know,
big heavy duty unit.
No, it was an old army truck. But the other thing is, you know, I didn't realize this until watching it again, and they were smart. Did you notice that the exhaust on those trucks were forward? The exhaust routed to go to the front grill, so that it wouldn't go back and heat up the dynamite in the back. And I was like, okay, I wouldn't have thought about that. As a filmmaker, I would not have thought about that at all. But they rerouted the exhaust to go to the front of the truck instead of the back because of the dynamite. And I was like, okay, that's a minutia detail that was pretty brilliant in the thinking. Because I would have never thought that. I'm like, okay, let's just get the truck, load the dynamite, and get going. But they actually, you know, reversed engineered the exhaust to come out the front. So that was an interesting, you know, design on that. But yeah,
what do you think about the Tangerine Dream score?
Oh my God, I was going to bring that up. Tangerine Dream. William Friedkin saw them on. He was doing a promotional tour for The Exorcist, and he was in Germany. And somebody brought him to a Tangerine Dream concert in the middle of the old abandoned church in the Black Forest in Germany. And he fell in love with the band. He said there was no lights. It was just lights from the electronic keyboards they were using. And he was hooked. Yep. And he got these guys, basically sent them a script of what he was doing. They didn't see the film. They were working off the script. And they sent them back, you know, what they thought. And it's a great score. It's one of the great scores. Those guys have been, I think they took off a little bit more in the 80s than they did in the 70s. But man, Tangerine Dream.
I love their Near Dark score.
Risky Business. What else? They did
Near Dark.
Yeah. Oh my God, they did so many great things in
Johnny and the Tchotchkes.
Johnny and the Tchotchkes. Yeah. The Ernest Borgnine story.
Yeah. That was a made for TV. It was great. By
the way, folks, we've created in our history, we've created a fake band that we're
kind of proud of. Experience.
The Lee Marvin Experience, and then we were renamed the Ernest Borgnine Trio.
Yep.
And then that eventually went into Izzy and the Wizards.
Yeah, Izzy.
And our only hit song was Boom Bap.
Yeah.
And then we were known for scoring a Pizza Hut commercial, and that was.
Wait, no, Domino's. Domino's, pizza, Domino's.
That's enough nonsense. We literally, oh my God, man, I miss you so much.
We work Comic-Cons, and these days are really long. I mean, we get up at 6:30 a.m. Dave and I were pretty much the first ones there. We helped get everyone in. Then we basically were the last ones out to make sure everyone was off the floor. And then we go, a few select of us would just find like the best local restaurants and go have a couple whiskeys and some good food. And through those nights, we came up with some weird band names.
I think we even shot some band cover photo, band
album. Yeah, we did for sure.
Chain link fence, that kind of stuff on it.
Yeah, so a night in Portland after the Rogue Brewery, that's what happens.
The other thing is we bonded over movies.
Yeah, talked a lot.
We talked a lot about films, and it was hard. You're in Comic-Con, you can't help but be around a lot of the actors that are in a lot of your favorite movies.
Yeah, tell me about it. We couldn't get you away from them.
Yeah, whatever. I was just doing my job. Hey man, I was just doing my job.
So I know how to get Dave riled up. I can get him going on for hours about stuff.
I was just doing my job. But yeah, I think we bonded over that, and like I said, we both traded off on movies.